Here's a thought about the size of the emotion. In a recent YouTube video, camera guru Tony Northrup sort of inadvertently, I think, validated a point I've been making for years. He was talking about megapixels and why we need more megapixels, and he showed a picture that's hanging on the wall in his home of a rose that he photographed during his first date with his now wife. And it's a very emotional image for the two of them, as you can well imagine. But he was lamenting the fact that this photograph could only be a relatively small size, 8 by 10 roughly, because he had photographed it with a primitive camera that didn't have very many megapixels, and he wished now that he had photographed it with a higher megapixel camera so that he could make a really big picture, and that was the virtue he was trying to sell. But it occurred to me that the emotional impact of that picture of a rose would be no greater to he and his wife if it were a larger photograph. Physically larger photograph. What counted in that photograph was the emotional content which they derived as a result of their relationship with the moment and with the photograph. And that's precisely what happens with all of the people who look at our photographs too. It's the size of the emotion that counts, not the size of the photograph. Sometimes you have to have a really big photograph to communicate the message. But a lot of times you don't, that it's the content that creates the emotional connection, not the physicality of the size of the image. So thanks, Tony, for making my point, but sort of unmaking your point. Anyway, take a look at his video. I think you'll see what I mean.